An analogy that I like using with players on the field is about how quick they learned when they were babies, when they're toddlers. That when they're that young, they learn things like walking and talking, and the amount of information and things they pick up is exponential at that age. And one of the reasons why is because at that age, there's no conscientious of mistakes. They're not afraid, as we're not afraid as babies, as toddlers, to run into things, to fall down, to get bumps and bruises, to say the wrong things. We're not conscientious of our mistakes. And because of that, we're willing to try and do things without any kind of fear of what other people would think or being embarrassed by not getting it right the first time. And I use this analogy a lot with players on the field because it's exactly what stunts players' growth or slow down players' growth on the field. And for all of us, as we get older and we get more conscientious of our mistakes and how people view them, our ability to learn slows down as well, because we are afraid to get it wrong and don't like making mistakes and we're aware of it. We don't put ourselves in situations where that can happen as much, so our growing process, our learning process, slows down tremendously. And kids on the field are like this, especially at training. I tell players this all the time, that the reason why you don't improve as fast as you would like is because you're afraid to make mistakes. You're conscientious of it. You don't want to get it wrong. You're nervous about what your teammates would think, your parents would think, your coach would think, and maybe even what you think about yourself as a player. So for players to really grow quickly on the field, they have to kind of go back to that toddler baby mindset, that they're there to make mistakes. They need to make mistakes on the field a lot to grow quickly. It's the only way to do it. Nobody's good at something right away. And the problem is that as soon as people try something not good, they immediately think, well, I'm just not good at this and I can't learn it. And same thing with players on the field. A player's weak foot is a great example of this. Players all the time say, I'm not good with my left foot. And it's because you just haven't practiced enough with your left foot. You haven't tried enough with the left foot. And most of the time is because when you do, you make mistakes. It's not nearly as good as your right. You are embarrassed about the way you hit the ball, not getting any power on your shot, so you don't use it. Where in reality, it should be the exact opposite, and you do it more and you try it. So if players can step on the field with that same kind of mentality that we had when we were baby and toddlers, we are not afraid to be wrong, to make mistakes, to not get it right the first time. We're gonna grow a lot as players, and that's true for all of us. But it's a good analogy to use your players, get them thinking that way. But as the only way to grow quickly, growth is slowed down tremendously from that fear of being wrong, and then that quick silly assumption that I just can't do this and I just can't learn it. In reality, you just have not given yourself the time to.